Hey up everybody, Magpie Gaming here, and in this video I'm going to go through 8 suggestions that have been placed on the official Tarkov subreddit, and these are suggestions that people have made towards the game, things that they'd like to see implemented or added or changed, and I've picked out 8 that I think are really good. But I've got to say that all of the suggestions that I've read on there recently, because I've been reading quite a lot on the Reddit forum, it's a great source of information for the game, and everybody on there seems really friendly, really helpful. You know, there doesn't seem to be any kind of bitching or anything like that. So if you're after some information on the game, it's a good place to go. But every suggestion that I've seen on there has been really good and really useful. You know, there's nothing on there that you think, no, that's a stupid idea, you shouldn't do that. Nearly every suggestion is pretty decent. So the first suggestion that was on there that I've picked out today is dip coating weapons. Now this is basically having skins for certain weapons, whole weapons, or just certain weapon parts. I think it'd be a useful addition to the game. It'd bring another level of customization to your weapon. Obviously not hugely true to life, which is something that Battlestate Games want to do with this game. They do want to keep it as much a simulation as possible. But in the real world now, you do get guns that are skins. You do see, especially if you go on Instagram and you look at guns on there, you can see a lot of people skin their weapons. Obviously this isn't something that takes place within the military. I can't really see many people running around with a leopard print gun in the US Army or anything like that, but it would bring a subtle difference and individuality to your weapons maybe. But when you talk about skins and things like that, you instantly think of microtransactions. You know, are they going to start pushing that within the game? You're going to get stupid skins, people running around with pink guns and stuff like that. I can't ever see that in Escape from Tarkov. Like I say, they want to keep it as true to life as possible, but microtransactions, as controversial as they can be for some people, they're not something that I personally have an issue with. I do understand where people come from when they have an issue with them. That's all fine and good, but it would bring some more revenue in for the game to push development more. But you know, that would be down to Battlestate whether they wanted to do something like that. Obviously when you look at games like Fortnite and PUBG to a certain extent, the cosmetic items that they sell definitely do keep, especially from Fortnite's point of view, because it's a free game, it definitely does keep that game floating, and it's made a lot of money. Whether or not that's something that Battlestate wants to do, I don't know, but it would bring a nice little bit of individuality to your weapons, so maybe one day that will be implemented. Okay, next up we've got one, and this is traders to have a filtered stash. Now at the moment when you go into the traders screen, the shit's just all over the place really. The only thing that seems to be cohesive is that weapons always seem to be down at the bottom, but obviously you do have a filter just to the right of the traders screen and it will highlight the certain things. But I think it might work out a lot better, as you can see from the image in the background that somebody has made. This would look a lot more tardier in my opinion, and one of the things that I found with this game is that you can spend quite a long time in the traders screen, and it does take up quite a chunk of your gameplay time, and as people are saying, some people don't have that kind of time to play with the game. So being able to get straight in, find the item they want and get straight back out into the character screen, do what they need to do and get back into a raid, that would be useful for some people, and I think it would be better if things were tidied up a little bit. It is all over the place, it can be hard to find some things. Even sometimes when you're regularly going back and forward to an item, I find myself thinking, where the hell did that go? And then eventually you find it. It should be in a better list. For instance, if you press on the filter on the right and everything else vanishes apart from what's in that filter, that would be a lot more helpful too, if it blacked everything else out. But if you was just to put everything in order, that would be a lot faster for people. At the end of the day, like I say, some people don't have ages to put into this game. They've maybe only got a couple of hours and they want to get as much gameplay as possible. You don't want to spend all your time in your inventory and traders screen, so I think that'd be a useful addition. Next up, smoke grenades. Now these are due to be added to the game at some point in the future. I've read this in the past and everybody that's on this Reddit about smoke grenades has saying that they are coming at some point, but somebody said that obviously when they're deployed, if your character inhales the smoke or goes near to it, then they should cough, which would be true to life, and this would give away your position. Now, I think that's a really good game mechanic to add in. Obviously, coughing isn't an issue. You get that when you've been injured within the game and you're easily identifiable to people near you. And another thing would be that it would bring gas masks into the game and they would be more relevant. Now, you do get one gas mask. I've seen that. It's the one that takes up 4 slots. And it has absolutely no use other than being a cosmetic item at the moment, but that would then be of use, and you could bring other gas masks into the game as well. And then you've got the mechanic of different smoke grenades would give a different level of smoke. So for instance, like the current grenades that you've got the RGD5, and then you've got the F1, which is just slightly more powerful. So of course different levels of different smoke grenades would be good, and I think overall smoke grenades would be an amazing addition to the game. You know, sometimes you need that cover, sometimes you could smoke a room out. You know, I think overall it would probably be used more for cover, and I think that would be a really good idea. Next up, we've got gun range. Somebody suggested that we should have a gun range where we can test different weapons and attachments and variations. Now, somebody's pointed out that this is pretty much already in the game with offline play. You're able to go in, and obviously with offline play you're going up against scavs, or you could just have the scavs turned off as well and shoot through factory or something like that, and you can test your weapon. So a gun range in essence is already there in a roundabout way, but somebody has pointed out that with the hideout update for the game that is due at some point, an actual gun range is going to be included with that for you to test your weapons. So that's one that's going to be coming at some time in the future. Next up, and this could be a controversial one, but that is solo only games. Now, from the comments that I'm reading, people have said that Battlestate want to focus purely on the squad based gameplay, and they see this as being more true to life. You would get more squads in a real world situation like Tarkov than you would solo players. Not sure I 100% agree with that. I think you would get many solo people in a situation like this. Solo only games would be beneficial because a lot of people don't have friends to play this game with. It is a niche game and a lot of people don't enjoy it, so it only appeals to a certain type of gamer. So I think some people would struggle to get their friends to play it over games like Battlegrounds and things like that. So yeah, I think solo only games would be a good addition. It obviously would fragment the player base that they have at the moment, so whether or not the player base could hold up if it was split between squads and solo games. Obviously your squad ones, you would still have the option for solo people to go in. I think that a lot of solo players do enjoy going up against squads. The spoils can be amazing if you can manage to take out a duo or more people in a game. But yeah, some people would just like that solo experience. I think that is something that could be added in the future, but I don't know. Like I say, Battlestate wants to keep it true to life, but I think you would get people fighting on their own in situations like this. So I would like it to see it implemented, definitely, but whether or not it will, we're just going to have to wait and see. The next one is the deployment counter within the game. Obviously, depending on the load time of your game, you usually get the 20-second countdown, and somebody has suggested that whilst this countdown is active, you should be able to go into your stash, set up your binds. If you forgot to do them, you should be able to switch your fire modes between single and auto. You know, just do the things that you've maybe forgotten to do before you went into the raid, and I think that would be useful. Whether or not it's technically possible, I don't know, because during those 20 seconds I'm not really sure what's going on with the game. But for instance, you know, it would give you the chance to be 100% ready for your game before you go in. So yeah, I think that would be a useful one. You know, I forgot to band my meds, quickly go into the screen and band them before you go in. I want to enter the game in full auto. You know, I mean, that's not really a biggie one. You're just pressing a button for that. Banding can take a few seconds, and those can be crucial seconds. So yeah, I think that'd be a useful one. Next up is turning off power in buildings. Now, apparently from reading the comments again, this is something that's going to be added into the game in the future. Apparently an animation was shown off where you can flick switches, and this will turn power off in rooms and in various buildings. That would be an amazing one, I think. If you can imagine being in dorms and you're looting and somebody switches the power off. Obviously with the windows that are in there, it's not going to go completely dark, but it would bring about another, it would mix up the gameplay quite a bit. It could maybe make night vision things more relevant when you're playing daytime based games. I'm not too sure about that because the night vision stuff within this game is hugely expensive, but again, that could bring about a low level amount of gear that would be more affordable to people. Would that be something people would like to see within the game? I'd definitely like to see the ability to turn off power in various buildings. That would be good. How much of a difference it would make in certain locations, I'm not too sure, because when you look at customs, the vast majority of buildings that you can go in within customs are fairly well lit with windows, so turning the lights off wouldn't dim things too much, but it would mix up the gameplay a little bit. It would add another level of difficulty to it, and obviously turning power on and off at will would be annoying. So it'd maybe have to be something that's maybe behind a key. The controls could be behind a key that's a rare spawn key. I would like to see that added though, and obviously it will be added at some point in the future. Animations are being shown off for this. So yeah, let me know what you think on that one in the comment section down below. And last but not least, this is for when you're discarding items in your stash. Obviously you right click and it gives you a little menu. You should have an option in there to sell directly to Fence. Now, Fence buys a lot of crap, it's got to be said. He buys a lot of the things that the other vendors won't touch. So, for instance, if you've got a damaged packer, but you'd like to get some rubles for it rather than discard it because you know that it could still be worth something, but none of the vendors want to buy it because it's of such, you know, it's damaged to hell. But if you could get a couple of 1,000 rubles for it from Fence, I think that would be useful. Whether or not that's something that they can add into the game, I don't know. I was reading through the comments and they said because of the amount of stuff that Fence actually goes through, he probably wouldn't be able to take it all on. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. That is something that I'd personally like to see added. It would obviously give some people a new level of funding. You know, you're not completely losing out when you get rid of something. So yeah, those are the suggestions that I've picked out today. So let me know in the comment section down below what you'd like to see added to the game. Do you think any of these suggestions are good? Do you agree with some of the ones that are going to be added to the game, for instance the smoke grenades, or do you disagree with them? Let me know what you think down below. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.